Hey guys, Brantley here again with 30-Minute Fisherman. Well guys, just wanted to come to you this morning and do another little lure review on this guy right here. And I've actually talked about this bait in the past. I think I did a video on it last year, if I remember correctly. But anyway, this is a great bait for this time of year. And I've had a little more of a chance to actually fish with this bait and use it. So just want to come in and talk about it, because really when it first come out, I heard a lot about this bait, and then everything kind of died down, all the per se talk and news of the bait. But this is the Booyah Prank, and for those of you who don't know, if you can take a look at this bait, it's a popper. It also has like a little small square bill lip on it. And actually, to me, this is what's so cool about this bait. First of all, you can pop it, okay, and it has a good little pop. You can actually get a little bloop out of it. Now, again, like other reviews I've done before, I always like to give say pros and cons and all this good stuff. The pro would be, yeah, you can get it and do a nice little bloop, and it'll also spray water in front of it. Now, that being said, you do have to play with it a little bit. It's not, again, there's poppers on the market that you can make more of a bloop, that nice little bloop, say like a traditional popper is a good one. You get that bloop, bloop. This bait, you can get that sound even out of this little small profile bait, but you have to do it just right. You have to pop it just right. You have to, you have to just work it a certain way. So in other words, my point would be, it takes a little practice to get it to get a nice little blue play. I mean, you have to, and I mean, that being said, really any lure, you have to get out here and fish it and see what it actually does. But that's what I would say, to get that nice little bloop, you have to play around with a little bit. But the spitting action on it, it actually wants to spit more so than anything, this bait does. It's more of a spitting popper. It splashes water out in front of us, what I mean. So it does that fairly easy. And then of course the little square bill lip on there. And honestly, most of the fish I've caught on this bait, doing just that, is actually swimming it. It's a lot like a wake bait, where it doesn't run very deep, and then you got this little, the little feather tail is just sitting back here just kicking, just sitting there just, it's doing its thing. Well, if I can get a hold of this treble hook. So, there you go. So, as the front of this thing is, with that lip is moving like this, and the tail's back there just shaking too. And it just looks really good coming through the water. And it comes in some really, really good colors. This is just one of I can't remember the name of this color. I've actually got it written on here. I think Pearl Melon. Yeah, this is the Pearl Melon color. So I always try to put the color on top of the bait. But this one, it's got a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that, hook rash and a little scratched up right there from where I've been using it. But anyway, like I said, the hooks on this bait, real sticky sharp. I personally haven't had any trouble with them. Like I said, that's a decent little feather treble there on the back. I didn't see any need to change it out. Again, a lot of times you don't know until you catch a couple of fish if the hooks are actually going to hold up. But just straight out of the package, I wouldn't change the hooks out. I think it's a pretty solid bait. It's got a split ring in the front, as you can see. And again, that allows for that, crankbait action on it. And again, the cool thing is, you can sit here and bloop, like I said, you get that nice little bloop, bloop, or get that spitting action, so you can spit it a couple times, and then you swim it. And you spit it a couple times, and you swim it. And usually, guys, my experience has been, they will hit it on top, don't get me wrong, but typically most of the bites I got was when I was actually swimming it. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's got a killer little swimming action. I mean, I've actually taken it sometimes and just thrown it out and just reeled it in, not even really popped it that much. And of course, it depends on conditions. You know, if it's slick, calm, if there's a little bit of chop on the water, all these things come into play too. I mean, and a lot of times you have to figure out what do the fish want, and that's with any top water. That's with any bait. That's just, to me, that's part of the fun of fishing it. But anyway, guys, this is the Booyah Prank. So, and just like the name says, a prank. It's a cross between a popper and a crankbait. Popper and a crank, so it's prank. And, you know, guys, like I said, in my opinion, good, decent little bait. Not a very big bait. That would be one con for me. I typically like a little bit bigger popper than this, just because it's easier to cast. You got a chance at catching a little bit bigger fish, even though typically speaking, even my bigger 3-inch or even 4-inch poppers, you know, they catch all different sizes of fish. So this bait is kind of small, but it actually has pretty good weight. You know, it's also got good little rattles there in it. So, you know, again, very realistic eyes on it. Nice paint job. You know, the paint really hadn't come off of this one. And like I said, I've caught several fish on this bait now and fished it pretty hard. So, like I said, it got a little bit of hook rash there on the bottom, but nothing that I would call extreme. So it's not really losing the paint job. Like some baits, the paint just, you know, flies off of them sometimes. But again, you know, it's a very realistic looking bait right there. You know, it's got the little lip on it. And again, you know, like I said, cons, it's kind of small. Hooks are decent size, but not very big hooks. You know, sometimes I would actually like to have a little bit bigger hook. That's my only cons. You know, pros is, you know, it pops, it spits, you can crank it. You can almost get a little bit of a walk out of it too. Again, if you're gonna have to mess with it. But even that being said, as far as making it walk, you can, but you're probably just better off cranking it, to be honest. And I mean, that's another pro is, you know, you're buying one bait, but you're really getting two baits because you got a popper and a crankbait. Or actually, I would consider it three, because really, instead of just a straight up crankbait, I consider it more of a weight bait. You know, you can just bring it right along, underneath the top of the water and get that nice little bulge. And again, that, like I said, that tail's back there just kicking this feather tail, and they'll come up and munch it. I mean, it gets eaten, guys. I mean, I've caught fish on this bait. And again, another pro, like I said, seem to be decent hooks. Haven't had any problems with it yet. Haven't caught any really big fish on this bait, but I've caught, you know, 3-pound fish on it and haven't had any trouble. So anyway, guys, the Booyah Prank. Yeah, check it out. Made by Booyah, and it's a popper prank, you know, hybrid bait, I would say. And you know, get out there and get you some and try it. And like I said, really good this time of year when these bass are up in the shallows, you know, and you can pop it, you can crank it by them, and they'll eat it. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Hit the like button down at the bottom. And remember, this is a day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. Get out and enjoy the great outdoors that the Lord has given us. And tight lines. God bless, and I'm out.